Hey, what's going on the YouTube? SEL0320 representing JVS. So I had the luxury of being able to see Ant-Man and the Wasp, and I want to have fun with this review. I want to be able to let you guys know my expectations tempered with the fun that I had with this film. So the first Ant-Man film, which was initially directed by Edgar Wright, and then it was pushed off to somebody else, but you can still feel that Edgar Wright feel off of it, and it has such charismatic characters like Louise. Of course, you got Scott Lang, of course you got great Michael Douglas as Hank Pym himself, and an all-star cast for the most part, and a really good villain. And I was really pleasantly surprised with the very first one. So this one, when I watched the trailers for it, especially coming off of Infinity War, I was like, it seems too bubbly, I don't see if there's any substance, I don't know who is this character Ghost. And I gotta tell you, the trailers were misleading, because not only did I think this was funnier than the very first movie, but it has a lot of things hidden that you just will not expect. First thing, a priority, I will say this is a non-spoiler review, but please stay to the first post-credit scene. It is the most important thing. You gotta see it. And that's all I'm gonna say. Moving forward, the VFX in this one is amazing. The first time I saw the first Ant-Man, when they showed Michael Douglas as a young man, I was like, yo! And then they continue to excel with that with, Tony Stark within Civil War, and then they've been doing that, of course, with Guardians of the Galaxy. But in this one, you get to see a young Lawrence Fishburne, you get to see a young Michael Douglas, a young Michelle Pfeiffer, because one of the opening shots is kind of like a flashback sequence, and it looks real. What they're able to do with VFX and technology, the Disney and their team of VFX artists, is just amazing. You know what I'm trying to say? So as far as the fight scenes in this one, I think that they do a really good thing when it comes to the sizing of inanimate objects, of people, of things, and of course with Ant-Man and Wasp. I think that they do a really good job of showcasing their powers and their abilities. Even the character Ghost, and what they're able to do and their capability, I think they do a really good job of showcasing the powers, and they do one of the most amazing chase scenes I think I've ever seen. It's just so inventive and so creative that you're gonna love it. It's like a thrill ride. It feels like, honestly, that The Incredibles could have went through an adventure like what this movie brought you through. So coming off the heels of Incredibles, I think that's a really good thing moving forward for Ant-Man and Wasp critically. Now, I will say I think that a lot of the fight scenes, some of them in the very first, especially the third act, were better than some of the things that happened in this one. But, of course, you know that Wasp steals the show. There's this one fight scene in the very beginning of the movie, the first act, and you realize she has it all. And it's really interesting, because Scott talks to Hank and is like, wait, she can do this? She can do that? Wait, why did you get it to me? He's like, oh. You know what I'm saying? I thought that was funny, but then you got the acting. And one thing I was hoping for that I didn't know was going to happen was Michael Pena. I was like, I saw him in the trailer, I saw the very first teaser, and it was him and Paul Rudd doing kind of like a rehashment of everything that's happening for the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and I was like, you gotta have Michael Pena. And Michael Pena steals the show yet again. Louise has some of the most funniest moments, and it's not just Louise. T.I.'s back in this one, and the Russian guy, I forget his name. They are collectively hilarious. Matter of fact, they're funnier than the main characters. Even Paul Rudd gets upstaged in certain moments, more so than for Michael Pena. And I was like, this is awesome. I don't want to spoil anything that happens, but you just prepare yourself to just continuously laugh in your theaters. And I think you should embrace that. I think this is a movie that does have a lot of funny moments and comedic moments that you should embrace, but there are also some empathetic moments. There's some moments where you have Hope and her dad, Hank, talking about reminiscing over the mom that was lost to them, and it was kind of just you know what? Wow, you can feel this we advertise. You can feel this weight and pressure to try to figure out, is she still alive? What can they do? And it's like when Michelle Pfeiffer, when you see her in flashbacks, and when you see her, her elegance just fills up the room. She's so graceful in this one, and I love what they do with her as the previous Wasp character. That's all I can really kind of say. Ghost is another character that I was surprised in. I really thought she was gonna be, or they were gonna be a one-note kind of character. Of course, I mean, I kind of spoiled it in a sense, but they've already alluded to it based on the casting. That Hannah John Kamen, she was on I think Black Mirror and a couple other things. I think she was in Ready Player One. She was one of the villains of Ready Player One. She does play the role of Ghost, but what they were able to do with that character, I thought was more interesting than I thought I could give her credit for it. Because I was like, how are you gonna come from Thanos to this character? And I was like, okay, I get it. I really do get it. My man, what is his name? That I didn't know he was even in this one. Walton Goggins is in this one, playing kind of like a villain kind of role, but his more so is like funny and tailored in a way, and I thought they did a really good job of what his character was meant for. Now, so I said all that to say that yeah, there's funny moments, yeah, there's empathetic moments, yes, they do a decent job with the villains, but there are moments, of course, where some jokes just don't land. Now, I did say that before that this is funnier than the first movie, but kind of like what Guardians of the Galaxy 2 did and certain other things did, when you try too hard with a certain joke, when you push it, and it's like, this doesn't work for this character, or this doesn't work for this specific moment. I think they do that a couple times, but it doesn't go too over the top like they did with Guardians of the Galaxy. I think that the jokes are so well organized and the actors do such a good job of like just naturally being funny that those moments come off better than moments that they seem like they try. So that's why I said that this is funnier than the first one, but there are some jokes that just don't land. Whereas the first movie, I felt like everything landed. So I just want to make sure I critique that specifically. Another thing is the story. I think the story is very interesting. I think that they do a really good job of fleshing out the story pretty well. The pacing isn't too over the top. The movie, I thought was longer, but it was very short, just like the very first movie, but they fill a lot in there. I didn't leave the theater wanting more, but I felt like I had just enough, you know what I'm trying to say? So I guess they did a really good job. From a director standpoint, I think he did a really good job with this one. Of course, you got Scott Lang, is played by Paul Rudd. He does a really good job. He owns this character, Ant-Man. And what they do with him in this one was really interesting. It required him to use his acting talents in a different kind of way. And I do appreciate it. But again, I said it from the beginning, the Wasp, Hope, Lily does such a great job. Like she can hit those emotional moments. She can hit that moment where she's like the fierce warrior, and then like that emotional connection when it comes to Scott. Like I was like, this is great. Same exact thing when it comes to Scott and his daughter. And it's just like his daughter's grown up, but she's become like a little mini-me of him. And it was like this cute and amazing little scene in the very beginning where they're kind of like going and search for something together. And I thought that was so special, so cute, and it was just really well done. But all in all, I think it was a pretty good film. I think that I really enjoyed it. I didn't lose traction. You know what I'm trying to say? Is it the best? I'm not gonna say that, but I did really enjoy it. I thought it was very funny. I think it's something you can definitely take your family to see. Again, make sure you wait until after the first credits because you will not be sorry you did. There is 2 different credits. There's one after the very long credits, but the very first one is the most important one if you want to go ahead and just leave. I don't think you're gonna really miss on anything after the second string of credits. But yeah, if I had to give this a review, I'd give it a 9 out of 10. I think it was serviceable. I think it was better comedy-wise than the first one. I don't know if this one works organically better than the first one, but I did enjoy it. And I think that Marvel is learning certain things when it comes to their villains that I think that they're really starting to ram up. And I'm really appreciative of how they're actually treating the characters more than anything. It's unprecedented. Some of the things that they've been able to really do on a technological standpoint, a hero standpoint, and a story standpoint is really great. And one thing I didn't talk about was Lawrence Fishburne. Lawrence Fishburne does play a role in this film. I don't want to say too much, but think like in the past. That's the most thing I can kind of say in connection with Hank Pym. And they use Lawrence Fishburne pretty well, but I want him back to DC. Like, you're Perry White, bro. Come back. Anyway, hopefully y'all enjoyed this review. Keep it locked, JVS. We ain't gonna stop. Have a blessed one, guys. Peace.